Charlton were promoted into the Championship alongside Wrexham and Birmingham last season, and stupidly, nobody has really spoken about them. And some Charlton fans will probably say that's absolutely fine, we're happy to go about our business on the low. Well, I'm sorry, but you're impressing me a little bit too much. And so in this video, we are going to understand exactly why Charlton are so bloody good. Let's go. Charlton have one of the best defences in the Championship, conceding just 10 goals and sitting joint second for the most number of clean sheets so far. And pivotal to this has been Charlton's centre-backs, because Lloyd Jones has been one of, if not the best defenders in the league so far. He's won the most aerial duels with 82, the most total duels with 111, and has made the most interceptions out of any other centre-back currently competing in the division. Lloyd Jones's individual brilliance, partnered with such a well-organised, cohesive back line, has earned them clean sheets at Bristol City, Sheffield United, and most recently at Portman Road. Charlton are the masters of space, and as we'll come on to later, they're never going to control games with high numbers of possession, but instead dictate games through their ability to nullify oppositions. This screenshot shows Charlton deep inside their own half with every outfield player behind the ball, and you can see the Charlton back five, that flat back five in this moment. You've then got your three midfielders, Connor Coventry, Doherty and Carey, and even your two centre forwards as well, coming back to control the space. And that's really important, because some people might say that this is Charlton on the back foot, but actually they're quite comfortable in this moment because of the spaces they are controlling. They may not be controlling the football because, as you can see, Leif Davis has got the ball on this left-hand side, but they're controlling the space and they're happy to do so. And by keeping a deep central block, they're forcing Ipswich to play around them instead of through them. And you can see Leif Davis, this isn't a video, this is just a screenshot, but I can tell you that Leif Davis plays this pass out to Jack Clark on this left-hand side, and they're having to go around them, when really Ipswich, with those attacking players they have centrally, and we're going to come on to the central areas in a moment, they want to be playing the passes into these positions. They'd love to play the passes into central spaces, but because of that compact block that Charlton are so tight with, they're forcing them to go round the outside. And even though Ipswich do have two players inside zone 14, and you can see them here, you've got two Ipswich players in quite central areas, and we know where zone 14 is. It's just outside the penalty area where the majority of goals are created or scored. And you can see that zone is occupied by two Ipswich players at this moment. But that is sort of irrelevant, really, because the passing lanes to get those players on the ball are completely nullified by the positioning of the Charlton players. And even if they do get the ball there, they're surrounded by Charlton defenders anyway. This is still control. I think that's so important to say. This is still control of the game of football. It's just without the football, if you know what I mean. And when you see the final scoreline, of course, Charlton win this game 3-0. It's clear that this disciplined style certainly worked. Now, I should mention Charlton didn't quite have it that comfortable throughout the entire game. They did have to dig in. They made 13 tackles, 11 blocks, and 46 clearances. But that is not luck. That is defensive character. They were organised in their shape, strong in their block, and showed real grit when it mattered. Charlton's attacking tactics are focused on getting the ball into advanced areas as quickly as possible. Despite sitting 23rd for average possession and attempting the least number of passes in the league, Charlton have still created the 8th most big chances and, of course, most importantly, have scored 14 goals. So the big question is, how on earth are Charlton winning all these points with so few passes? Well, in short, it's because they play extremely direct, and instead of keeping hold of the ball for large periods, they favour hitting the dangerous positions at top speed. In fact, their average pass sequence time in the Championship this season is just 5.79 seconds. Essentially, when they do regain possession, they don't keep hold of it for very long. And with little context, that might sound like a negative thing, but it really isn't. Under Nathan Jones, even in League One, Charlton have always focused on efficiency over volume. Rather than endlessly circulating the ball, waiting for the perfect pass, they go straight for the space. It's about quality of possession, not how long they keep it. Once again, this is from Charlton's win over Ipswich last week, and this move begins with Charlton centre-back Gillespie, who is in possession deep inside his own half, as you can see here. And not that this is Charlton's game, but there aren't many short passes on, so he does go long, and it fires into the half of Ipswich, as you can see here, and it forces an engagement of the Ipswich back line early. But of course, Charlton don't just want to hit the ball long and have it come straight back at them. They know that Ipswich are piling on the pressure. They're going to commit bodies. They're going to be the side that are going to have a lot of the ball. So pumping it long and clearing it, if you like, to have it come straight back towards them isn't their plan. They want to hit dangerous positions and cause a problem there, crucially, quickly. And the way Charlton do this is by having players ready and alert to collect the second ball. And at this moment here, you can see O'Shea has headed the ball that Gillespie has fired into their half. But as you can see here, very, very clearly, Sonny Carey has found acres of room. I mean, there is nobody in shot down this side. There's two players here. Again, they're not really looking at Carey. You could maybe argue that Nunez is here. But these three players here, totally ball watching. They're totally watching to see if O'Shea can find maybe a better headed clearance, if you like, but he doesn't. And in this case, it's Sonny Carey, as I said, who's found so much room in the middle of the pitch, and he's ready to intercept this headed clearance and drive towards the Ipswich box. Although Gillespie will say that he was aiming at Charlie Cowman. He's probably not going to win a duel against O'Shea. O'Shea would certainly be the favourite. It doesn't matter. They're still ready to collect the second ball, no matter if it's a Charlton player that wins it or an Ipswich player or any opposition player wins it. And as you can see with this next screenshot here, it is Sonny Carey that intercepts that clearance. And he now, and even if we zoom in a little bit on his head, you can see he's looking around. He's looking to see how much space he has. And he's going to realise very quickly that he's got quite a lot of space. And he can drive towards the box now, knowing full well with that look and with that check that this Ipswich back line are going to be off balanced for sure. They are definitely short in numbers because of how many players they were committing in their attack just seconds before that long ball was fired over. And they're most likely going to be organised. He carries the ball all the way into the Ipswich box. Go and watch the goal. It is a really, really great piece of individual quality. Drives into the area, and the finish is fantastic as well. And if we go back and count how many passes that took, I mean, technically it's just the one. A direct ball from Gillespie, a second ball that was intercepted from a headed clearance of an Ipswich player, and then a great individual drive into the box. Now, I've probably made that sound a bit more simple than it really is, but I think it does capture a large part of how Nathan Jones wants his side to attack and hurt opposition teams quickly without needing to suffocate teams with endless amounts of the ball. This is yet another example of what we've just spoken about. This time it's against Derby earlier on in the season. The ball is fired long into Charlie Cowman, who cushions the ball down exceptionally well, by the way. And this time it is Tyrese Campbell, who has acres of room. Look how much room the guy has around him. He can run into this position. He can maybe even go inside. He's got so much room. And we know one of Tyrese Campbell's biggest strengths is that ability on the ball. Now, for some reason, that last screenshot was flipped. So this is the correct angle. And now Tyrese Campbell is driving towards Derby's penalty box. Now, if we go forward again, this does lead to a goal. It's not quite two passes that lead to this goal, but something else that really impressed me was how quickly Charlton shifted everybody upfield and scattered the opposition box. Bearing in mind about 7 seconds ago, this move began with a vertical ball into the centre forward from the back line. I can tell you this goal took a total of 4 passes before it fell to the eventual goal scorer, James Bree, and that was an incredible strike as well, by the way. That's over a pass and a half more than their average per sequence this season. Charlton are the most aggressive and effective pressing team in the Championship. They've successfully pressed the most opposition pass sequences in the league, averaging 13.7 sequence disruptions per 90. If you're new to that stat and have no idea what I've just said, don't worry, about half an hour ago, I didn't either. Essentially, it means they're the team that wins the ball back the quickest and most often when the opposition try to pass it. Charlton currently sits second for the most times a team has won back possession in the final third and rank 4th for the most turnovers as well. Now, before we take a look at a high turnover against Blackburn, this first screenshot, I think, gives us a really good idea of how Charlton press from the front. And I can tell you, they go man to man. And you can see here, you've got a man-to-man press here, although he's not looking the right way. I can assure you that he does turn the right way in a minute. You've certainly got one here with Doherty and the central defender. Tyrese Campbell the same. You've definitely got one here with Sonny Carey as well. And Charlie Cowman, who's sort of given this free role, is looking to press the goalkeeper, leaving the goalkeeper with only one option, you'd say, or safe option, which is this pass out to the fullback. And Charlton win in three main ways here, don't they, really? They either win the ball back aggressively, force a mistake and pounce on that, or make the opposition go long, where usually they win the initial duel anyway, and certainly, as we saw earlier, definitely giving it a good go with the second ball as well. So in this case, Blackburn are looking to build up from the back. The goalkeeper has the ball and he's under pressure, like I mentioned earlier, with Charlie Cowman pressing him into making his next move. And again, I've alluded to it, he can't really go to one of these two defenders here. That would be a risky pass with Tyrese Campbell and Doherty there. He's facing the wrong way and Charlie Cowman's sort of coming through the back of him. So turning back round would take some pretty strong confidence to fire it to the only free man here, the other defender. Again, this is going to take something quite impressive. You've got to turn around and you have got James Bree also occupying him. So it does leave him with one choice, and that's to go out to the fullback if he doesn't want to go long. And it's great to see the aggressive press doesn't just come from the attacking players. This is Amari Bell who's stepping up from fullback to snatch possession and attack Blackburn's box. Now, between Tyrese Campbell and Sonny Carey, this example doesn't actually lead to a goal. He does well. He gets into this position here. As you can see with this next screenshot, they do get it into the box. It's a little bit of difficulty, and the shot does come off, but it doesn't hit the back of the net. Having said that, it does show us the commitment to Charlton's proactive aggression when they press. And again, very, very importantly, how quickly they can hit the opponent's box. Now, this example is from a slightly deeper position, but it once again does show us Charlton's desire to aggressively regain possession and spring a threat on the opposition quickly. James Bree does a fantastic job of stepping up and winning this ball. But it's the positioning of these four Charlton players, Tyrese Campbell, Doherty and Carey, with Charlie Cowman on that right-hand side, that fascinates me. And it's because they're playing a crucial role in the way that Charlton are able to hurt teams when they turn over the ball at rapid speed. By keeping these players in advanced positions high up the pitch, when possession is successfully regained, they already have a strong number of runners targeting the final third. They haven't got to wait for players to get around them. They can already be there, ready to make a difference. And if we move on to our next screenshot here, you can see that the ball does eventually get to Campbell. And as we mentioned earlier, you've got a player there so comfortable in carrying the ball. He does well to get it upfield. He's waiting as well. He's sort of moving inside, which I think is really, really effective. And this pass here is going to come a little bit later because the run from Sonny Carey is great. Really, really strong run. And he should be where I put my arrow in the next screenshot here. Magic. Tyrese Campbell waits for the pass, makes it, and then Sonny Carey eventually hits the back of the net. It's a good save initially, and then he follows it in and tucks it away. Charlton currently sit third for most fast breaks attempted and second for the most goals from those scenarios too. And it's not just from open play where Charlton are dangerous. They have become one of the Championship's most effective set-piece sides as well. I mean, what can't they do? I can tell you 43.9% of their total XG created this season has come from a set-piece situation. That's a big chunk. In fact, it's the highest percentage in the Championship. They've scored 7 goals from set plays, which sees them sit third in the Championship. Just thought I'd sprinkle that bit of detail in there. There's quite a few layers of Charlton to get through today, but I think set pieces certainly worth mentioning. Now, I have spoken about this player a fair few times during this video so far, and his influence deserves a slightly more detailed mention, I think. Take a bow, Sonny Carey. After joining on a free transfer from Blackpool in the summer, Sonny Carey already has 4 goals to his name, and we've seen in nearly every example I've shown you today, his unique skill set is playing such an important role in how Charlton are picking up points. He's that important. His powerful build allows him to carry the ball effectively. His tenacious abilities give him that edge when winning possession, and he can strike a ball pretty well too. Compared to players outside of Europe's top 6 leagues, the midfielder ranks in the top 3% for carries into the box, and the top 1% for both defensive actions leading to a shot and non-penalty goals per 90. He's the definition of an all-round midfielder.